Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Rucker, and today I'm coming to you on True Table to talk about life. I hope everybody's Valentine's Day was successful, enjoyable. It's the National Day of Love, so I hope people enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed mine. It was it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. But I enjoyed most of my days, but I definitely enjoyed Valentine's Day, and I hope that that was the same experience for all you beautiful people out there. So I'm pretty excited about today's topic. Again, I'm excited about most of the topics, if not all of the topics, because I feel that the things that I think about, the things that I talk to you guys about are just relative and very much necessary as far as things that need to be discussed, conveyed, figured out, and I do what I can to bring clarity to these topics. So today I'm going to tell and reveal from my perspective again, what is the secret to a successful relationship? And I'm just, again, I'm so excited. I'm pretty sure everybody's like, what? What do you mean? How do you know? You're not even 40, but whichever. So yeah, let's get into it. What is the secret to a successful relationship? There's no formula. There's no elixir. There's no ritual. There's no luck of the draw. The secret to a successful relationship. Ready for it? You guys ready? Are you ready? It's self-love. Sorry to disappoint you guys who thought it was going to be something miraculous or spectacular, maybe a pill of some sort. But no, it's pretty simple. Self-love is truly the secret to any lasting, successful relationship. Now, what makes you say that, Daniel? Well, I have a lot of things that I formulate and things that I think about that come to my mind. A lot of time of observing people, observing myself. I do share in this same thing as far as being a human and what it takes to live this life through our filter, our process, our mind, our culture, state of being, emotions, and all of that. And I'm saying that self-love truly is the only foundation that first can be birthed. Well, first has to be foundational, solid, in order for you to birth a lasting relationship. Now, what makes you say that, Daniel? Well, proper self-image is one of these components when it comes to self-love. A lot of people online, there's articles and blogs and books and, movies, I'm sure TV and content that will say that in a blanket umbrella kind of thing, that self-love is the way to go. And I'm inclined to agree with certain people, but I don't think people are really explaining what self-love and what it looks like. What are the ingredients to it? So I'm here to give you some of those, things that have worked for me. I'm coming from poor self-image as I was growing up at a time. I'm growing up in a predominantly Latin community, being a chocolate brother like I am, and having to deal with the constant pressure of, colorism and racism and cultural differences, and being a young black man, but not having the same standard, what would you call, stereotypical expectations of what it constitutes how a young black man is supposed to conduct himself in society. I was raised a little different and introduced to a lot, so I have a very cocktail type of mindset when it comes to life and so on. But anyway, not to get off topic, just sharing some background about me so I can give you guys and hopefully connect for you to understand that I do understand what it means to go through series of insecurities and things that you have to battle and tackle. So I'm not immune to it either. But a proper self-image. Now, how do you get that, Daniel? How do you get a proper self-image? Well, a proper self-image starts with first understanding and accepting that you are the only person you're ever going to be. Now, what does that mean? It means you were born into the body. You were born into the family. You were born into the culture. You were born into the physique that you were distributed. It was the luck of the draw. Now, you didn't have a hand in creating yourself. You didn't have a vote in creating yourself. So I would go on record and say that it's probably a lot easier to go ahead and accept, what you have been presented to the world like, from a raw place. That's not to say that, if you're someone who's, you feel overweight, that you can't work out. That's not to say that if you don't like your nose or your earlobes or whatever that may be, that you can't have reconstructive surgery. But all those, again, are external components. The real person that is yourself is the internal component of yourself. We are spirit. We have spirit. We live in a body, but we have a spirit. And from that spirit comes all our characteristics, all our creativeness, all of our tenderness, all of our drive, temperament, and all of those components. So a proper self-image is really where it starts. How do you work on getting a proper self-image? Well, it starts with understanding and being honest with yourself. Now, some people would think that a proper self-image is someone who dresses nice, and who, does their hair and does their nails, or gets a haircut, or bathes. I would hope you bathe, but hygiene is very important. I'm not knocking that. But a proper self-image is all mental. It's first thought. It's first your perspective of who you are to yourself, how you show up in your own life, how you show up in the world. You have to work on your self-image and really marry yourself to how you see yourself from the most positive place. If you have a poor self-image, then you definitely have to start there, because without it, it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to really build any type of relationship that is going to be lasting and fruitful. That's friendships, that's romantic relationships, that's work relationships, and so on and so forth. So proper self-image, positive thoughts, and healthy consciousness. A lot of what I'm saying does seem to be relative to the mindset, and it is. A lot of times people think that because we as human beings are emotional, that our emotions are really the core of who we are. And I'm here to tell you that that's actually a misconception. Our emotions are like notifications on a cell phone. How can you water it down that simple, Daniel? How can you say that we're just notifications, or our emotions and the way I feel about something is just a notification? Well, it is. The way you feel about things are a good identifier of what potentially is going on inside of you. However, you're not to, in my opinion, and it would be wise for you to learn not to navigate through the way you feel solely. The way you feel can give you some insight to certain things, but from those feelings, you have to explore them further and really take time to build your inner self from a mental place, to build your self-image and proper consciousness, positive thoughts and healthy consciousness. What does that look like? Things that are productive, things that are, in an arena of true love, gestures, characteristics. Patience is one of them. Honesty is one of them. A giving nature is one of them, and so on. Love is more action, choice, and lifestyle than it is emotion. A lot of people will, disagree with me that love is something that you feel. I'm not disagreeing that love is something that you feel. I do agree that love does have a feeling component to it. That when you love someone or are in love with someone, there is a feeling that is associated with that. However, me being of the same species as everyone listening to this channel, I've identified and grown to understand that love does not just spark. Love is choice, especially specifically when we're talking about giving that love to someone who is not a family member, not that automatic love like a brother or sister or a child or a mom or a dad or so on, but someone who is a stranger to you, someone who you've encountered, someone who you have an affection for now, and someone you're trying to get to know and connect with on a deeper level. That type of love is choice. Friends, choice. You decide to open up to the thing that is hopefully already in you. And we all have a measure of love in us, but it does take work to have it be fruitful and healthy. So let me continue. Oftentimes people think love is electric, it's euphoric, and it's magical. I don't agree. I believe love is creation, it's building, and it's constant. What do I mean by it's building and it's constant? Love is something that is like, it's like a circle. For a physical example, it does not end, and it does not have in a sense an on and off switch. It's a choice. It's something you commit to. I believe that we as people all have love in us. I believe that we are all capable of exemplifying love. I believe that we're all designed to do just that. That our job, and one of our biggest jobs as people, is to show love. But first with self. If you as a person do not have love inside of you, then it would be foolish to think that you can give love to someone the proper way. Some people don't have true love for themselves. Some people don't have the right type of love, the pure, unadulterated flow and true supportive type of love that is flowing in a way that comes through in their characteristics, in their temperament, in their attitude, in their demeanor. If you think that you can short circuit this system, short circuit this process, you're foolish. You cannot give what you don't have. If you do not have true love working inside of you, not existing inside of you, but working inside of you, then whatever relationships you encounter, whatever opportunities you get to potentially build on progressing and trying to establish a romantic relationship or a working relationship, it's doomed to fail because you can't short circuit this process. The work starts here. So I have this term that I have called house rules. And house rules are, so you're your own house. You have, I believe everybody that has a home, whatever, an apartment, a condo, an estate, whichever, has house rules. And these house rules are designed to govern your flow, designed to govern your day-to-day. People that come visit you have to be introduced to the house rules. When you were a kid and you used to have guests over, whether that was family members or friends, your parents would tell you, hey, you got to let them know the house rules. You got to let them know that we don't run inside, or we don't jump on the couch, or you don't go open in my refrigerator. You take your shoes off at the door, whichever your rules were. And I believe that you have to have the same type of structure, awareness, and discipline for yourself. We talk about matters of the heart and you being your own person. Well, you having your own house rules is key. You have to know what your house, first of all, looks like, or what you want it to look like, what type of lifestyle you want to create. And that starts with yourself. You can't expect that people are going to treat you better than you treat yourself. If you want a certain type of treatment, if you want a certain type of love, if you want someone to show up in your life, from a place of desire, love, selflessness, generosity, patience, and all of these things, you first have to check self. You first have to see and go inside your house and see if it's furnished. Go inside your house and see if it's clean. Go inside your house and see if there's matching dishes, or if you have, electricity on. If you have roaches, is the trash taken out? And these are just examples of what a household would look like, hopefully to metaphorically connect to the internal parts of you. If the internal parts of you are suffering from, anxiety, or certain parts of you are coming from a place of anger, certain parts of you are coming from a place of, extreme and destructive selfishness, then I would encourage you to do the work for yourself. Any person you encounter is going to encounter your house. And if you decide to let that person in, people have been to people's houses And they've walked inside of certain people's houses and they're like, wow, oh my gosh, it's beautiful in here. Whether they convey it, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But a person knows when they're in a household that is organized, in a household where someone cares for their house. It's the same thing with a person. You know, when you encounter someone, you're encountering someone who cares about their house. You're encountering someone who, takes the trash out, who makes the bed, who dusts, whichever. And they offer a certain level of hospitality in their house. And that could be translated into treatment. When you encounter their house, their self, they're going to treat you accordingly. Why? Because the love that they've established in their own house, self-love being the foundation and the key, is fluid. They've done the work. So the evidence is going to come through in their demeanor. The evidence is going to come through in their treatment. The evidence is going to come through in characteristics like patience, consideration. My gosh, consideration. That is the word. I love that word. Consideration. So I encourage people to really assess and be honest, because look, it's you. You got yourself. You got your mindset. You got your internals. Nobody's looking. Nobody's watching. Get along with yourself and really ask the key questions. What does my house look like? Do my house rules, make sense? Can I put my house on the market? Would anybody buy my house? Does it have curb appeal? All those questions, you have to be honest with yourself. And that's where it starts. Like I stated earlier, you will always be you. You were always who you are. I'm Daniel Rucker. I was born Daniel Rucker. I'm going to die Daniel Rucker. So I decided a long time ago to just get comfortable with myself, because this is me. This is who I have to work with for the remainder years I have on this earth and this planet. And again, I encourage the same thing with my listeners. If you are not absolutely in love with yourself, then how can you expect somebody to be in love with you? That's backwards. It's asinine. Everything starts with you. Everything. And so I encourage you to do that work, to do that self-discovery. It may take some time. It's going to require some work. It's going to require you pulling back some layers. It's going to require you being honest. But I definitely encourage it, because what I know comes out at the other end is a better version of self, that proper self-image. When you see yourself a certain way, you stand a certain way, you talk a certain way, you move a certain way, you dress a certain way. And that's where it starts. Two examples I wanted to use before I, end this, and I'm a little bit over my time, but that's okay. This topic required a little bit more explanation. We got two individuals that I'm pretty sure everyone knows, Floyd Mayweather and Kanye West. Why I like these two young men is that Floyd Mayweather, everyone knows him for his abilities in the boxing ring and what he's been able to do and accomplish in boxing. But what I really, really admire about Floyd Mayweather more than anything is that he is very verbal about his self-image. He's very verbal about how he sees himself. And he's not apologetic about it, because he does not have, in my opinion, a lack of an improper self-image. He sees himself great. And he wants everyone to know how he sees himself. Now, some could say, oh, well, he's so arrogant and he's so cocky. He lacks humility. And, that's your opinion. But what I take from his practices, what I take from his boisterous, characteristic and his boisterous, demeanor, is he's someone who's aware. He's someone who's not doubtful. He's someone who walks through life sure of self. And that's really what I'm saying. Kanye West is another example. Kanye West, as well as Floyd Mayweather, would not have made it to a global stage if they doubted themselves. They would not have made it through the pressure and in the market and the world, in a sense, if they had that doubt. We got billions of people who live with untapped potential. We got billions of people who duck their heads and do not assert themselves in a way that I believe is this self-love I'm talking about. We are powerful people. You as a human being are powerful. You are powerful. And you only see evidence of that power when you know, first of all, that you are powerful and you don't doubt that you're powerful. So I just wanted to share that with you guys today. Like I said, I know I ran a little bit over my time. This will probably be an episode that I revisit, do a part 2 or part 3, maybe a series, who knows. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. You know, please, when you get an opportunity, please subscribe. Hit that like button down at the corner. Tell your friends about me. Spread this around your social media. I want to continue to bring you guys content that is relative and beneficial to everyone listening, because I'm here to do it for you guys. So thank you for your time. Enjoy your day. This is Daniel Rucker signing out on True Table. Take care.